Alright, let's take a look at some of the tools that you'll need for homework 1. So this is what you're supposed to create for homework 1. A structure that looks kind of like this. We're not going to do that. We're going to do something similar but different. We'll save the actual homework for you guys. So we'll just use T1, T2 instead of S1, S2. And clear that out. So we're in this directory and we have a folder of text files within the directory. So the first thing we'd want to do is make a folder T1. And then you can see we have that folder there. Go into that folder, empty folder, make a directory T2, T3, and we'll make a file. And put another one into T2. So now we're in the repository /T1/T2. And let's just go out to the parent directory. To give you guys a visual of what we did, created a folder here with another folder here and a file in it, a folder that's empty, T3, and that's about it. So one thing that we can do when we're in the parent directory is we can go and recall the previous commands. And if we want to, this really isn't the most efficient way of doing this, we can use echo, which will just repeat the command or whatever we write after the echo, and we can angle bracket that into a file. Let's call it myshell.sh. And then we went into that directory. And we want to add that to it, but we want to add it, not override it, so we need double brackets there. And save a little time, we'll just add these manually. Echo touch file 1. In this previous one, we did not actually direct that to the shell script that we're writing. And finally, create the other file. So if we take a quick look at what we did here, we can delete this folder, and we should be able to take a look at what we have in here. So we're making the directory T1, going into T1, making directories T2 and T3, and creating a file. Then going into directory T3 and making a file there. Now if we want to change something, like let's say we forgot to make that file 2 actually called file 2. We can just use VI to edit it just on the fly. I for insert mode. make our changes, and then escape :WQ to save and quit. So we have the myshell.sh shell script, and we are going to want to execute it. So that's /. And we get a permission denied. So if we do an ls-shell, we can see that the permissions for this are read, write, and then no execute, read, no write, no execute, and read, no write, no execute. So the first batch of 3 is the owner, which is us. Second batch is the group, and the third batch is everyone else. So to be able to execute this, we need to change the permissions to be read, write, and execute for us. And so this is basically 3 binary bits, 3 sets of 3 binary bits. So read, write is a 6, and then blank. Read would be a 4, and read would be a 4. So the permissions are basically 6, 4, 4. So if we want to add an execute there, we would change that to 7, 4, 4. And check our work. And we can see that now we have execute privileges. You don't actually need to memorize all that because you can just look it up anytime. That's Wikipedia, by the way. Now, if we want to execute this shell, and then let's take a look at what happened in Finder, because I shows us things visually. We can see that the folder is back with the file in it, empty folder T2, and file2 in folder T3. Now, just to make sure that this is working and we didn't just forget to delete it, let's delete that. Come back here, execute it again. And now you can see that we basically have a programmatic way of executing shell commands in a shell script.